Retailer of the Year. David Ritter, who was your 2024 Retailer of the Year?
Drum roll, please. So
Da-da-da-da-da.
I think what all the rest of you are going to say is Walmart and Costco, and I want it to be interesting. So I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to say Publix supermarkets.
Whoa,
Wow.
dark horse. What?
In a
Why?
world where grocery has just been a bit in upheaval with the Kroger Albertsons deal, Publix has put their heads down and really just focused. They achieved a 49% increase in net earnings. They reached $4.3 billion in sales. They're rocking a 24% market share in the areas where they operate. And they've opened 45 new stores in 2024, including markets like Kentucky, in places that are slightly underserved. Right. So they're thought of as this Southeastern grocery magnet, but they're expanding beyond it. And it's not just the subs and the sandwiches. They're rocking. So they're my vote for this year.
That's right. They kicked Kroger's digital play out of the state too, right? That's a good pick. All right, Chad. Who was your pick? You seem to be very appreciative of that choice by David there. I saw your head.
I was.
All right, here we go. You've got the envelope.
If I were voting, I'd love the grocery space. I really like that call and what they've done to stave off a lot of competitive threats in the Southeast. So wonderful play on that one.
Carson too. Remember Carson when he put the envelope?
Yes, exactly. I'll say, so before I read this, right, you do have to remember that David Brown is our resident kind of luxury apparel, fashion, beauty expert. So I have a feeling that things are going to slant in that direction. Right. So first off the bat here for Retailer of the Year, we have Hermès.
Wow.
So here's what I'd say to supplement his choice, right? So first choice in my closet, obviously, from my fashion get up today. But Dave mentioned kind of grocery, a segment in upheaval, like certainly here. And this is really one of the very few luxury fashion brands and players doing well. They have a nice secret sauce. They understand luxury differentiation, personalization, customer intimacy in a way, way more than kind of max luxury players like LVMH and others are kind of doing. So talk about a dark horse, but David coming in with French luxury.
Yeah, the luxury of the luxury. Okay, wow, we've got two very different picks here so far. And where are you going to go this year?
I had to give it to Walmart this year.
You did?
I did. Wow. I think the real tipping point for me, Chris, was when we signed up for our Walmart Plus membership. I started to see firsthand the value that a retailer that it wasn't my go-to before, but the value that it's bringing to my life and how much it's changed it personally. And then all of the headlines, obviously them bringing in a higher income demographic. They did the fashion reboot this year. They've got Scoop New York and all the stuff they did for New York Fashion Week. They were first on the scene with Gen AI Search, the first big retailer on the scene back in January, launching that. You got the merging supply chains with Sam's Club this year, the StockX partnership, increasing salaries for store managers to $400,000 a year, commerce technologies, that whole division, and the store assist they're doing. Plus, gotta love the Busta Rhymes creative this holiday. If anybody hasn't seen it already, I highly encourage you to watch anything on your streaming services because you'll see that commercial about 1 billion times. But I just think there's so much that Walmart has done this year to just totally launch it off and be even more of a household name than they already were for people. So Walmart, hands down, got to give it to them.
Walmart Chris, wins it, huh? Yeah, go ahead.
What about you? Like,
what do I think?
Yeah.
So I think all three, I thought this was the toughest year that we've ever done this show to hand out the Retailer of the Year. Like I thought you could give it to Abercrombie, you could give it to Walmart, Tractor Supply could be in the mix, even Dick's Sporting Goods, and Dave mentioned Costco too. But for me, actually, my winner is Sprouts. Sprouts stock price was $48 at the beginning of the year. It peaked at $155, now stands at $147. They've doubled down on their smaller, more productive format. I think they opened 35 new stores. And we got to see one of those smaller stores when we toured toured their stores in Phoenix with their real estate team, man, and we were really impressed with that.
It was unreal. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other crazy thing about Sprouts is they're only in 24 states. So Jack Sinclair and his very strong leadership team, both on the merchandising and the real estate side, can take this small format prototype and put it in a lot more places. So I think the growth here is there's still a lot more to come. So that's why they get my vote this year as the retailer of the year. Sprouts. Congrats, Sprouts.
That's a great pick, Chris. You're totally right. I mean, Sprouts, like when you look at, we talked about last week, Tractor Supply's, total addressable market here in rural communities. Sprouts has so much further to go too. So I love that pick. Well done.
Whole Foods just been dropping the ball too.